Hi guys, welcome back to another episode of the Kit and Krysta podcast. I've obviously lost track.
Back to casting pod on a Sunday. Our forefathers would not approve.
Rolling in their graves.
No,
just kidding. Well, tomorrow is a holiday.
It's the Memorial Day weekend. It's important now that we clarify when we're recording this because news could break
at any moment.
At any moment.
Yeah, and of course we record it and we release it like later in the week. So who knows what's going to happen?
We're covering ourselves.
I know,
like, where's this in the news? Like, we didn't know it didn't happen.
It didn't happen yet. You can't predict the future. Although we're going to be doing some predictions today.
That Monday morning news drop that we're always so, Johnny on the spot with. Not this time. No.
Yeah, but tomorrow is a holiday.
Oh, that's right.
So
yes,
there's usually not a lot of news when it's a holiday. So hopefully we're okay. Who knows? On Tuesday something might happen. We are in the sort of announcement-ish season.
We're in it.
As we like to call it.
Deep in it.
We're deep in it. I mean, things are coming out pretty much like every couple of days at this point, which is really fun. But yeah, we always put any other big things that come out in our bonus Q&As too. So second chances are out there for everybody.
Now you have a fun holiday activity planned. You're going. This is a deep sea expedition. Like what?
Whoa!
Deep sea fishing.
You're making it sound way cooler.
Explain
than
this.
It is. Yes, but I am going on a ocean fishing charter.
Okay.
Tomorrow. The start time though is very early.
Oh.
6 a.m.
Wait, that's like you have to be on the boat at 6?
I think we have to be at the dock at 6.
Oh, that's not good.
Mm-hmm. It's early, right? Like super early.
Why? Are the fish not awake?
I think that's when the fish are like biting the most. I don't know. You and I have shared some fishing disappointments in our past.
I refuse.
Together.
I refuse.
But we've separately had like childhood trauma, birthdays where we had gone to places where they have basically like a man-made pond filled with fish, and somehow like both of us had this same experience at separate times where we didn't catch anything.
The only
people that didn't catch anything was us, and then everybody else around us caught stuff.
Yeah, so I figure fishing is for the birds, Yeah.
Yeah. So I was like, you know what? If I can't catch a fish, basically shoot a fish in the barrel, as they say, maybe I can catch it like all natural on the ocean, in the deep blue sea.
Now, what could you potentially catch? Have they gone through that with you?
They have, yeah. So right now, what's in season is halibut.
Okay.
Ocean mackerel.
Oh.
And
how far out are you going?
And there's like also like some sort of jack.
Are they going to have to strap you into that chair? You're having your like hours long battle with this fish.
It's not like a wicked tuna.
It's like Jaws here.
We are leaving the gate, so we have to go outside of the Golden
ocean
Gate into the out of the bay into the ocean.
I would expect no less.
Yeah. It sounds really fun. I'm excited to like just try it. I'm not sure what to expect. I've never done something like this before, but I've always wanted to. So
good.
Yeah, I was thinking like maybe if I learn how to do this next time I go sailing, I can also like throw a line in. And then catch my own dinner and be like very self-sufficient on the sailboat.
That's right. You can just live there.
That'd be so cool.
Who needs to come back?
I'm gonna be
anchors away.
A grizzled pirate on a sailboat catching my own fish. Yeah, but we'll see. I will keep you all updated. I'm sure you're not interested, but I will keep everyone appraised of my fishing situation tomorrow.
You need some sort of a picture with like an Animal Crossing-esque caption.
Oh yeah.
You need a pun.
I need a pun.
Yeah. So you better be ready with that.
I better call like the treehouse team up or something. Be like, start writing
on demand.
What kind of puns are? Yeah, we need to have. Got a dab. Got whatever. Got a dab with a dab.
Dab, more like a schmurb. I got nothing.
Yeah, it's not very good. No. I envision an Animal Crossing kind of like press the button when it's happening, and then it's like.
That's literally how it works.
That's how it works, right? Yeah. Fishermen out there, tell me if that's how it works. But it should be fun. So that's why we're recording the podcast today, because I will be out on the deep blue sea tomorrow.
Great. Hope you make it back.
Thanks. Do you though?
I do. Yeah, I actually do. What a weird thing to say.
Oh my goodness, how funny. What else is happening?
Well, we had last night our big monthly meetup with the One Up Club, which was great.
Yes.
We played some Mario Kart 8 Deluxe.
We did like a tournament thing, which was really fun. A lot of our our wonderful Patreon members recorded gameplay, and everyone had a great time.
Yeah.
Yeah, these meetups, you know, I like them because they're so casual.
Right.
And we just kind of hang out for an hour and chat and answer more questions, and just nice to see people's faces. Yeah. I realized too that a lot of our members are very international.
That's right.
Which I'm so proud of.
A very cosmopolitan group.
We are.
Yes.
We are very. I was thinking, like, how many languages does this group speak collectively? It's got to be in the 20s.
At least all of them.
At least all of them. And then some made up ones.
I got those covered. Klingon, Elvish. It sure is.
That's like a movie language. Elven.
It had been a minute since I'd played a lot of Mario Kart online, and I was reminded of how brutal that experience could be.
Oh man!
Because there were a couple where I was like, "Oh, I'm gonna win," and then like in the last half lap, it's like boom, boom, boom. No, now I'm last.
Yeah.
How embarrassing for me.
It's okay. It's fun though.
Yes.
You were trolling. You were in.
I was in the Sonic amiibo outfit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Ugh. Trolling.
Well.
Trolling these poor one-up.
They knew what to do. They saw Sonic and they attacked.
They attacked.
Yeah.
You were trying to like
it's like a dog.
Subliminal.
Right.
Yeah. It's like the Pavlov test.
You see that? You attack.
Got to ring that bell and
exactly.
salivate. I see. It's like an experiment.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it was super fun, and thank you guys all for coming. And it's great. We can't wait for the next one. Got to think of something else to do next time, but I think
it's a month.
Once a month. It's been great. Join us if you haven't yet.
Please do. It's a delightful group.
It's a delightful group.
Yes.
Yeah. Yes. Exactly. We changed our schedule slightly.
Trying out some new time slots.
Time slots.
Yeah.
Yes. Mainly because we want to give you guys time to listen to this very long podcast.
That was a little bit too much. I have podcast out Thursday and the show out Friday, so we're spreading it out.
Yeah.
So this last video with the Nintendo Power was out on Sunday.
Yes.
We'll see how that goes. We'll probably stick with that for a little bit and go from there, but we'll keep you updated.
Yeah, let us know what other sort of schedule you guys prefer
what time you like.
What time you like.
Yeah.
We're very flexible, so just let us know. But the Nintendo Power episode was so fun. I still actually have your magazines. I'm going to keep them for a little while longer.
You were supposed to bring those today.
I know.
This is how this begins. Now I'm teetering on
upsetness.
Something.
On something?
I don't know. We'll see.
I wanted to make a TikTok video with them.
And you haven't?
And I haven't done it yet.
I mean, I don't know why you have a TikTok account, because you really don't post there.
I do.
No, you don't. You don't.
I do.
It's not much point.
Don't point your TikTok
you're like one of these squatters.
Fingers at me.
Some other Krysta Yang is going to come and be like, "Hey, I actually have stuff to post, so I'm gonna
There's no
take that back."
Krysta Yang.
That's like when Reggie got his Twitter account. He found out whoever was squatting on @Reggie and said, "Give me that." That's what's going to happen to you.
He had the power play. Though.
You're going to get the boot.
No.
You need to be the top Krysta Yang.
I am. I'm the only one and only.
You got to earn it.
You can't substitute this. You can't bootleg this.
Wow.
But I will be keeping those magazines for a little while longer. But it was so fun to go through them, and it was very like nostalgic. And I really want to know if Andrew, the person that wrote the Zelda rap,
I'm expecting him to be contacted us any day.
I need Andrew to contact us, like, desperately.
A good addendum to that video is there was a person on Twitter who goes by Art of NP, @ArtofNP, I believe is his handle.
He got Howard's name.
Yeah, well, so this person follows us and we follow him. I'd love to have a conversation with him more, but he collects like artwork and items and memorabilia from the magazine, which is such a cool thing.
What a cool that's so
I mean, like some of
interesting.
we did the cover of the Mega Man with Dr. Wily. Like he has those actual physical
figures,
items.
Yeah, the claymation.
I don't know how he got this stuff.
Yeah,
but it's incredible.
It's good that someone is archiving.
At least it's not in some dumpster.
That's the danger,
that could happen.
That's the danger.
So yes, he did get Howard Phillips' nameplate. I was kicking myself. I don't think I took my nameplate when I left. Did you?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, well, that looked like just a generic nameplate. So maybe I have another one made for myself. And you're like, yeah, this is it. That's the one.
Now you said it on camera.
No,
now you're
I'm keeping you on your toes. Am I lying or not?
You're lying.
Every other word out of my mouth is a lie. You see.
Every other word?
It might be.
So then
it's up to you to figure it out.
You just said was the truth then.
Something was, something wasn't.
We're playing
Which one was it?
Two truths and a lie in the game of life.
You're already
right now.
reeling. I win.
That was very fun. So I hope you guys check that video out. And yes, if you're Andrew, please contact us.
But we have a fun show for this week. We're back on Zelda Breath of the Wild. Mm-hmm. We had an epic run of Breath of the Wild videos on Nintendo Minute. We said we got to get back going with these.
We got to get going with these for sure. Yes. Now that we're kind of halfway through the year.
Right.
This
one's all...
2 is coming out at some point.
Right. This is all about practice. The paraglider. So we're finding some spots. We're going to give ourselves like a minute to get into our preferred gliding place.
I think we should give ourselves less than a minute.
Well, fine. Whatever it is.
Yeah. To make it more exciting.
That can be your one contribution to the prep for this video.
I prepped. I found 3 locations just in case maybe mine doubled up with yours.
I texted you. I was like, I found 3. And you were like, yeah, why don't you find one more and we'll call it a day.
No, I didn't say that. And I did. I will show people the text message. Oh my God,
now you're the one who's lying.
I said, that's great. Do you want me to look for more? Or you think 3 is enough? You're like, I think one more is good.
You're just lying in a hammock, like getting fed grapes or something.
I wasn't. It was like
back to work, Nave.
I was right after our meetup. I was like trying to eat a dinner.
No, it's not allowed.
Can't eat.
Toil away.
In the content mines?
We have to toil.
We also asked our Patreon members to help us, our one-up members, and they were very helpful. So thank you. Right. So we got some good inspiration. We found some locations.
And the loser has to do a paraglider-themed photo shoot with a certain clothing item that we have and love.
Yes, it's going to be pretty epic.
It's going to be good.
To see who has to suffer that punishment. It's going to be all over social media, so...
Gosh.
Embarrassment continues.
Yeah.
At least you're not running down the street.
I did that too. It was fun.
Sure.
I'm getting a bad reputation in this neighborhood.
You really are.
I am.
You're parking
I've been given instructions on where to park and where not to park.
Multiple times.
Some of the neighbors may have been upset with me.
The mahjong party next door is not happy.
It's just a sidewalk. It's just street parking.
I keep telling you to park in the driveway, but you won't.
No, I won't
for
do
some
that.
reason.
That's gonna cause a whole to do if I do that.
No, it isn't.
Yeah.
Because no one drives. Nobody drives. Then
why does it matter where I'm parking?
Because you're parking in front of someone else's house. No one in this house drives.
I got like half a centimeter and somebody else's whatever.
And then you're running down the street in a tanuki
I'm just running around in a tanuki, sprints in a tanuki tail in the middle of the road.
Yeah.
I'm not going to be welcome back.
They're going to call
here.
the cops. Yeah. You're going to be in trouble. You're going to
just fly away. Yeah, fly away.
You're going to put in jail. All right. We're deep in E3 season.
Yeah.
So our next couple of shows is going to be about E3. Last week we talked about sort of the lead up to E3 and then this horrifying thing that happened with someone that was very disparaging of Breath of the Wild.
Oh my gosh. I still haven't heard the apology yet.
I haven't either. Maybe
I know he listened to this episode.
He listened to
I know
this episode.
he's aware. So.
You're listening. I know you are. Who's gonna be in jail now? No, but we're gonna dive into more E3 story time today, and kind of tell you guys about like what a typical. And we've done so many E3s with Nintendo. Like, what is a typical on the ground?
Right.
E3 like at Nintendo.
So last time we did the lead up, and now we're doing like once you get on the plane and get on the ground in LA. What's that week like?
What's it feel like?
And it's a full week.
We
could go day by day if we want to.
Oh yeah, relive the trauma and the good memories. There's both. It was a very emotional time. It's very like you kind of back and forth on the good and bad and the sleeplessness and the awakeness. There were some nights where there was no sleep. But
Well, where should we begin with this? I mean, there's so many places.
Well, let's talk about I think going day by day is a good idea, actually.
Right.
So,
well, there's a big difference already there.
So
the actual, we were told, the actual E3 show typically starts on a Tuesday.
Yeah.
We were told get there on Saturday.
Right. Well, actually, my first couple of E3s, it was like, get there on Sunday. And I was like,
oh, really?
That's reasonable.
Oh.
Right?
It depends on what you're doing. There's some people who get there, right before, but we got the whole deal.
We had to do a lot of prep leading up to it, especially with the global teams.
Yeah.
So that date of like when to get there, when to get into LA,
keep creeping back.
It just got like more and more like it totally kept creeping back to the point where you were getting there on Friday.
I would get there on Friday afternoon.
Yeah.
And the reason is, most people like yourself was like, all right, I have things to do kind of Saturday, kind of like mid-afternoon. So I'll catch a morning flight and I'll just roll into that.
Yeah.
I needed that evening to just get my mind straight.
You did.
And I would iron some clothes.
You do a lot of ironing.
I would have
Friday
a very like leisurely room service dinner and just relax and decompress.
You'd watch like a basketball game or something.
Yes.
If there was like some basketball thing
I would just take it easy one last night before the madness began.
Because by the time everyone comes on Saturday, you will not have a moment to yourself for the rest of the week.
I didn't love that feeling because like Friday night I'd be hanging out, like maybe Saturday morning I go for a nice walk, but by the time I got back in the lobby, you could see the people coming in.
It's like ants.
And it was just like the stress just started ratcheting up a little bit.
Like, hey,
like, oh, it's you. Oh yeah.
And then you can see your email and your text messages click, 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 click.
Man.
And that JW, we would stay typically at the JW Marriott in downtown LA. Which is a very convenient hotel because it's right across the street from the LACC. There was some dicey moments where we had to stay a little bit further out, which no one loved.
No. But that hotel was really like
the hub.
There were so many other companies who stayed there too.
That's right.
Yeah.
And then there's also lots of events. Like Jeff Keighley used to do the pre-show stuff right in that lobby.
Right.
If you were shepherding,
it was very convenient.
Executives or developers, like you could just take them from their room downstairs and they can just go. And we like knew all the back ways, like every shortcut back way, how to get through the different...
Where to get a coffee that would not be mobbed with people in the morning.
Talk to us about
we got all the tips.
All the tips. Like we knew exactly where to like walk Mr. Miyamoto so he wouldn't get seen, like what the underground looked like underneath the Nokia... Well, now it's the Microsoft Theater, but it used to be the Nokia Theater. We knew like those underground paths like the back of our hand, basically.
Now you had a close call one year where you showed up and they're like, "Oh, we don't have a room for you."
That's true. that
was not good.
Yeah, because what happens is we all register. Like we have an internal registration for E3, so it's like you tell the events team like, "Okay, I'm going to be here for these days.
This is when I'm going to be here. This is when I'm leaving.
This is when I'm leaving," and like your travel preferences, and they would keep track of all of that for us. So it wasn't like you were booking your own hotel room.
Of course.
And I had done all that.
Yeah.
Just to be clear, I did what I was supposed to do. I think this is like maybe a little bit more of a disorganized year. And then I get there, they're like, "Oh, we don't have you on the list." I was like, "Excuse me?" and it was fine. Eventually, they were like, "Oh, it's fine. You guys still have rooms in your room block. We'll just."
But that's like a nightmare.
That's
scenario.
A little nightmare. I had to like put my suitcase in your room. I think for a couple hours.
A morning or something.
Yeah, because I was like, I need to
I got nowhere to go. So.
I need to get to a meeting, so I'll just dump my stuff here, and then I'll go to my meeting by the time I come back. Hopefully they'll figure it out.
Yeah.
That was also that year where you had like a weird crib delivered to your room.
Yeah, somebody delivered a baby crib to me, and
they're
like, "Well, here you go." Like,
if all else fails, I could sleep in the baby crib.
I'll put you in the hallway.
Put me in the hallway in the baby crib.
You could just be like in the lobby in this baby crib. Like, wow, this is the best we could do. Broom closets were all taken.
Oh my god, can you imagine? There was also a year where somebody was we also like rented a suite to do all the YouTube uploads.
Oh,
and someone had to stay in that suite.
I'm glad.
So it was like the living room part was like basically this like crazy video village. And then the bedroom was like where this guy was.
Yeah, that's never good.
Sleeping.
Where it's like, well, you can have this suite, but people are going to be coming in and out working there. You never want that.
Don't agree. Don't
agree to that.
But I felt so bad for him because he was like, I have not slept for days because it's so loud and like people are just in that room like next door. Oh man.
But anyway, the reason we were getting there, days before the show was. We would typically have some sort of an event leading up, kind of on site,
especially like
that we would need to get rid of.
We started to get
like
earlier and earlier.
Yeah, depending on what it was, it might be a tournament, it might be some like press preview event, but there was always something that would take your attention before the show even began.
Yeah, exactly. So you would be there basically Friday night, Saturday morning, and the prep would be started. And then the other thing is all of the global teams would start coming in also on Friday or Saturday, usually Saturday.
Yeah.
They would have obviously the longer international flights.
Yeah.
But like we really needed those couple of days before sort of the big show start on Tuesday to do all these crazy meetings.
Right.
And there were a lot. It was like jam-packed days where you were giving presentations, like if you were leading certain things.
Getting final like thumbs up on stuff that you'd been working on. It's like, all right, we'll just approve it and we'll call it final once we're there.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. There was so many times where I would just like run around like the little, 1 block radius around the convention center, the theater, and the hotel. And I just like go up to people, can you look at this? Are you good with that? Okay, great. And then like move on to the next person. Can you look at this? Yeah. Are you good? Okay, good. Like it was crazy because it was just getting it done like in the moment. And like at first, those things would make me really nervous. It's like, we're never going to get this done. We're just not going to do it. But then, once you kind of get there, people are more like willing to like do stuff.
But that was kind of, there was a benefit to that because it was like, oh, this show actually begins in like days. So we need to make a decision. You can't push it off anymore.
Right. You can't use that excuse. It's like, I'll look at it later. Like, there is no later.
I don't know yet, or I need to think about it. It's like, no, we need to decide immediately.
Feet to the fire.
Do something.
Miyamoto-san, please. I'm just kidding. The developers are usually very amicable.
Yeah.
And that was a lot of the stuff we would get approved on site. We'd write like proposals of like what we wanted them to do for social media.
Yeah, and we would sit down with each of them and take them through. And a lot of times, like, either they had not really seen it or not really read it in depth. So like, you want me to do what?
Yeah. You want me to dress up like who now?
You want me to push Bill Trinan down a flight of stairs wearing these boxes? What?
Sounds good.
I will do that.
I love that. Or like we'll give them options. Like, do you think you want to do like one of these things, two of these things? Sometimes we ask the developers to draw, so that we have to go through like, oh, what do you want to draw? Like, how are we doing? We get the iPad out, the Apple Pencils comes out. We do a little. Yeah, there's like weird, like kind of quirky little things that get done.
I can't remember any developer ever saying no to any of these ideas. Yeah, they were always game for it. They were having a great time at E3.
They loved
E3.
It. Yeah. They loved to come and get hamburgers.
Yeah.
Like get to hang out.
Hang out.
Yeah. The other thing that kind of became a thing that was kind of a high stress pre-show in the days leading up to E3, like on Sundays and Mondays, was the Treehouse Live stuff.
Oh, sure.
Like
tech checks and all
really
of that.
added like a whole slew of additional stuff for everybody to do.
Right.
And it's not easy to put on, a live show like that.
Well, the good thing for us is like we were not super involved in that, but we could always see like the days and days of just like staring at cables and
not the tech part, but we were really involved in the promotion part of it. So that part was kind of stressful too, because you would have the social media person there, like alongside their rehearsal, and you can just watch them like beautiful mind the schedule because they're like, oh, we gotta move this here, and you're trying to keep track of like, oh no, when are we gonna? Don't tweet that too early because you're going to scoop them. Like, like that. That was a lot of mental gymnastics in the days leading up to it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
One other thing, in the days leading up to the show is there would start to be all of the press events. So everybody would watch, the Xbox and the PlayStation events. Yes. Those were typically in the same day, and we'd often have like a big meeting afterwards to like talk about it.
Right.
To be like, well, what did you think?
Briefings at the end of every day with the whole group.
Basically everybody. And there was one year, the year I was leading E3, I had to go up and like basically do the presentation.
Yeah.
And I remember I was coming from something else. I had not really gotten a chance to really like get the download on everything that had happened, and I got some really shaky notes from somebody.
Yeah.
Who just wasted my time basically. Like, let me tell you what happened.
30 minutes before to figure out like what you were gonna say, and then they gave you like really bad.
So I basically just like white knuckled it through this like meeting with like 300 people that included like Mr. Miyamoto and like Mr. Furukawa and literally everybody.
It was like up to like the global president of Nintendo.
And I think it was fine, but
I think it was fine too.
At the moment it was like, oh god, this is bombing.
They're like, someone's like, excuse me, that didn't happen. Yeah. And you're like, shoot. No, I'm just kidding. That never happened. You were very good.
But then but after that, like there would be kind of a daily meeting like that, where it's like, well, what's happening? What's going on? Like, what do we need to change?
Deep analysis of these like press conferences. I'm curious to like see if Sony and Microsoft did that for our like.
Oh yeah,
I'm sure they did.
I'm sure they did.
Yeah, but it's like you do like a competitive briefing,
right?
Yeah, and like you go through like what is the thing that really drove a lot of excitement? Do we have something that will drive equal excitement? Like there was a lot of discussion around that,
right?
And everybody was involved, including like all of the developers and stuff.
Yeah. So, once you got past the kind of pre-show event, like I always found that to be a bit more stressful than the show itself.
Yes.
For whatever reason.
I did too. Like the lead up, the anticipation. Yeah. And like also the anticipation of how people would react to the news that the announcements. Like you just never know like what, and people would like to spin up all sorts of tales like, oh no, like this is gonna be bad, or this is gonna be the one,
like the person who said Breath of the Wild was gonna bomb.
Yeah,
you would get all tied up.
You get tied
about
up
stuff
in
like that.
And it's like we just need to get this out at this point, and it's just so much. And also, there's like a fear of the leaks halfway through. Like there were E3s where things have leaked before. This booth is encased in like an iron curtain.
So so once that direct went out on like Tuesday morning, it was a big sigh of relief. Right. Yeah. It's like, all right, everything, we kind of done what we can. We know what we need to do.
Right.
But there's some sense of it that feels like, all right, we're past the worst of it.
We're past the worst. And also we're past like the unknown part of it, which is always scary. And now that you're kind of like, what people are saying, then it's like easier to do your job. Like if someone's confused about something, you have an answer. You can answer the question.
Right.
Versus just guessing on like what they're may or may not like.
Right.
So once we get past, like, of course, Tuesday morning was usually when Nintendo would do the press conferences, and then that turned into the digital event. So 9 a.m. Tuesday was always like an early day for us too. So like Monday, everyone's like, let's be really good. Eat your early dinner, go to bed. No funny business. On a Monday night, like everyone was always like very good. You like make sure your Tuesday outfit looks fantastic.
We didn't mention the E3 outfit shopping
That's true.
It was always like,
it was kind of a big deal.
There was like a competition of like who could get the coolest E3 outfits.
Because the E3 outfits it was a big deal.
I mean, we never had a chance to we're just wearing like whatever to work.
Like this.
But there was kind of like, oh no, you got to look good at E3.
And you can't dress up, like you can't look like a business loser. Like you have to look like cool.
Okay.
So you have to like put together these outfits that was like, and there's a lot of restrictions. It's cold in the convention center, but hot outside.
It's true.
You're going to be on your feet all day. So, for me, I'm like, I'm not wearing like stilettos. I got to wear like some sort of comfortable shoes that are also cute. Because you're walking around all day and you're, standing up all day. Like, but and then, you and I were on camera, so you have to like also.
Yeah, that was important. I mean, I split my pants one year at E3.
That's a different story.
That literally happened.
That actually happened. So you had to go back to the hotel.
In the booth, somebody tapped me on the shoulder and said, "Sir, your pants have exploded." We'll talk about that later.
We'll talk about that later, because you disappeared for many hours and you came back.
It was not like, that long.
What happened?
I ripped my pants.
Okay. But yes, the E3 outfits were like, and then meticulously
laid out.
Yeah, I feel like there's a job for someone out there to be like an E3 stylist.
I'm kind of glad I don't have to do that anymore, because that got to be a little much.
It got to be. I mean, we would legit like shop and pack.
That was like the one time a year I'd actually go shopping for clothes.
Weeks before the show, right?
Right.
Like, and there was a group of women at Nintendo. We used to do it all together, which was really fun.
Right.
But.
So, we should say, like, kind of in parallel to us doing, these events and whatever, our events team would be building this incredible booth.
Yes.
And sometimes you would get to pop in there and see it, like in progress.
Someone's drilling in a Mario somewhere.
Ours was always much ahead of schedule compared to everything else. You would see, like, some booth that's got, like, they got a forklift, they got a pile of balsa wood, they've got,
true.
They got stacks of TVs.
In the days leading up to it, you have to wear, like, construction zone
clothes.
Like closed-toed shoes, like a hard hat.
Like an anvil dropped on your head.
You don't want your foot to get cut off. Right. Someone dropped like a Sonic on you or something.
No, this was where like you could see how good our events team was, because like again, they were ahead of schedule. The booth was perfect. The booth was done.
Yeah.
And it was like incredible. Beautiful. Every year they would have some like showcase thing that was like, whoa, this is like out of a theme park.
Yeah. So cool. And then it just got better. They would just always one up themselves every year,
But the booth was like a little city into itself, because you would have like the traditional show floor that had all the games, but there was also like a whole other part of it that had like it was
meeting
like
rooms.
it had floors to it.
It's 2 stories.
Yes, it was like a high rise.
Yeah, and okay, so it was like the booth that everyone was playing the games, the nice like Disneyland area, and then behind it was like the meeting rooms. Right. It was basically like an office building.
Yeah.
Like there was like a front desk. Downstairs usually was our global team, so like you have like the Nintendo of Europe, Australia, Japan, whatever. And then the retail team is downstairs. Upstairs was usually where our team was. Yeah. And when we first started doing that 2-story thing, people would get sick up there because it was like, whoa.
There was a slight motion to it.
There's motion. And
Ever
people walk up
slight.
The stairs.
Yeah.
It was like, it make the whole thing.
Did that bother you?
Also, I don't get motion sickness. So a lot of people got like sick from
you could definitely
being up there.
Feel it.
When we were shooting videos up there, we would do it really early in the morning to avoid that, remember? We would shoot.
It's ridiculous.
We would shoot it at 8 a.m. because if people start going up and down the stairs, the camera would be like shaky and stuff. But so then, as there's more of the public stuff happening in the booth, there was like all of these behind closed doors kind of.
Right.
We actually called it that, the behind closed doors meetings happening upstairs.
Yeah, whether it's an interview or somebody playing a game or whatever it was.
Yeah, there's games demos in that area as well, so you could like skip the line.
You don't have to stand in line.
Exactly, skip the line. Yeah.
So I mean, we've done all sorts of things over the years of, once the shows began, like early on, I think we were doing a lot of like media, like tours where it's like, now I'm going to take you to this, now I'm going to take you to this.
Yeah, yep.
Definitely not glamorous.
No, and very tiring.
A little boring.
Kind of boring.
I would say. Because you're not even giving the demo. It's just like I'm escorting you around and kind of making this custom like appointment for you based on what you want to see, making that happen.
Making sure you don't stand in line and all that stuff. So you're mostly like, like a tour guide kind of.
Yeah.
And then we kind of transitioned away from doing that once we got going with the big social media push.
Yeah.
And usually, you were leading the social media stuff. I did it 1 year, I think. And then we were doing a lot of developer stuff, which I loved. That was my favorite.
Yeah, that was really fun. And that was probably the most fun I'd had kind of the days of E3 because... you have zany ideas and the developers make them even zanier. Mm-hmm. And it was all amazing stuff. And I mean, you can dig this stuff up. Like, we had a big sign outside of our booth where all the developers signed it and like left a note to personalize it. Or, they would talk about their games or they would show off their games and do fun stuff with it. So it was incredible.
Yeah, it was really fun. I think that I like that most of all. There are other things that I like too. There was sometimes I would sit in on some of the developer interviews or like their appointments, and I just like to hear them talk and stuff. So that was always interesting. You were there as like their safeguard. If someone asked a question that wasn't supposed to be asked, that our job was to be like, shut up. That was like supposed to be our job. Usually people are very well behaved. But we're supposed to like protect them, basically from any sort of unwanted questions and stuff. Yeah. And then, of course, once we started doing Nintendo Minute, our show days were really filled with filming as well.
Yeah, we did daily videos, which was on a crazy schedule.
Vlogs. Yeah.
Where, we would shoot it, they would do...
As we were shooting
the world's fastest edit.
At the same time. We would like give them clips and they would just edit at the same time. It was crazy. It was like
that
a
really
conveyor
was
belt
amazing.
And then we'd get it out at the end of the day.
Every day? How do we do that?
I don't know.
That's amazing.
How did we find time? Because we were doing other jobs.
Somebody else was doing the editing. Somebody
was doing the editing. I also was doing the editing. But we were finding time to like record the stuff too.
Oh yeah. Yeah, people would always ask us like, how are you going to do this? Like, don't worry about it. We'll find time.
Yeah. We've always found like a couple of...
That's why we're doing a video at 7:30 in a not shaky booth.
That's true. Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
And then so that's kind of like daily you would have the master schedule be filled with whether it's developer activities or interviews or filming. But after Tuesday, it's like so much easier and you can have fun.
And there was, an end of day, always an end of day meeting.
There's midday and end of day meetings.
And you would, as the days went on, you would start to like hope that the meetings would get canceled because everything's just going so smoothly.
But if something was going badly, then the meetings would
happen
canceled.
So that you could get admonished or...
Yeah, you'll get lectured.
You
personally. Me?
Messed up.
I've never messed up at E3, I don't think. Have I? I don't think I have.
No, but the mood kind of lightens as the days go on, and by the time you get to Thursday, people's like, whatever. Some people are leaving on Thursday. It's like, what, you're leaving? Like, yeah, I'm leaving. I don't care. I got nothing to do. Like, what?
Yeah, it depends on your job. We never had the opportunity to leave on Thursday.
One thing we should mention, a major key addition to the booth in the later years, there was a coffee bar in the booth.
That's true.
The espresso station.
Espressos, and you get coffee tickets. And the other big thing you should do is like, I would always go around to because you only get 2 coffee tickets a day.
Right.
So like, I would always go around to people that don't drink coffee. There's people on our
nut
team
jobs who don't drink coffee.
Yeah, like,
during E3.
Give me a ticket.
Nope, I'm high on life. Take it.
And I would always get like lots of coffee.
Great.
And they made good coffee. It wasn't like just like a Keurig. It was like...
This was like jail currency, you know? You got these coffee tickets?
A pin for a coffee ticket. I went into the other booth and I got a thing. Yeah, that was really a thing. But we would get like they made like really good lattes, like a lavender latte. It was fancy. It was fancy coffee.
It felt like a very like nice, real break to just stand in that line and get a coffee.
Yeah. Oh my God, that was like.
Contrast that though
to the
with
hot dog,
the lunch station. so the reason this was not good is they had to do it through the Los Angeles Convention Center, which is not a proper restaurant or anything.
It's a dirty hot dog and water.
For some reason. So we had like a big station where people could like eat lunch.
You had to like badge into it too.
They would always serve you foods that would make a mess.
Oh my gosh, it was like spaghetti marinara.
Yeah, it's like we got this red sauce ready to just splatter all over your nice outfit.
Or like some sort of like braised beef
exploded.
stew.
Yeah, or have this sloppy Joe right now.
Like a chili dog.
Oh my gosh.
And it's always like, you're like cutting this like over here. You have like 4 napkins as a bib, you know?
Yeah. See, this is where I had my galaxy brain move that people still don't understand. People still make fun of me for this.
I'm going to shame you for the rest of your life.
They're fools. You were among them.
I was fine. I had
so what I did,
nuts.
Here's the move. I would ship a box of Soylent to my hotel room to be there Friday. Because once the show gets going, you do not have time to get proper food.
No, you don't.
And the food is not about enjoying yourself. It's about surviving. So I would allot myself 2 Soylents every day to get me through to dinner. Because we could actually have a real dinner.
We can have real dinner. That's
like,
true.
Guess what? Maybe I don't have 30 minutes to wait in line and explode a sloppy Joe on myself. And it's like, this was handy because it's like, boom, I'm done. And I didn't care if it was good or not. I don't like Soylent. The people that eat the Soylent every day, that's bizarre. But it was just for this. Like, I am focused on this.
It can't be good for you.
I need to get through this. It's like 5 days out of a year.
Yeah, so this is my move. I learned this later on, like sort of towards the end of my E3 stint, but this was the best move, okay? So you get there on Saturday. Saturday afternoon, you might have a little time. I might have a little time.
I might not.
You probably did too. You just No, I think you did. You just didn't want to admit it. So me and the girls would go down and go to like a juice bar and get smoothies for the week. So then your breakfast done, and it's healthy.
This is fresh. A watered down version of what I do. But you're not fully committing.
Chemicals.
Commit to the act of sacrificing your body for E3 like I did.
And then for lunch, it was like you get an energy bar, you got some nuts, maybe you get like a fruit.
You can't slam that in 30 seconds.
I can too.
No, you can't.
Slam us that energy bar in 30 seconds.
I'm slamming this Soylent.
Okay. Next time,
shotgunning Soylent in the back room while splitting my pants. That's not why my pants split, by the way. Don't get it twisted now. These are not connected.
Just exploding Soylent on the back of your pants? What? Okay, next time we're going to do a contest. You're going to slam a Soylent and I'm going to eat a power bar and see how fast we can do it faster. If you want to see that, let us know. If you want to see Soylent.
I haven't had Soylent since the last E3.
Good, because it's filled with horrible chemicals
I probably
that will kill you.
Never will again.
Good. But yes, that was pretty much. And then yes, we get real dinner, and dinner was always like a good meal, and it was nice to look forward to it. Right. And you can spend dinner with other coworkers and other people that you might not see every single day, since everybody's coming in from all over the world. But it's great.
Just as you were starting to wind down, there was always looming the big meeting on Thursday night.
The one that I got asked about Mr. Dubuque's hotness?
Started at 5 and went to as long as it takes.
XXX.
As long as it takes.
19XX. It's just like a Mega Man game.
And you would just suffer.
You would suffer.
And
Friday,
you would just summon the last... You would dig deep to get the last bit of strength to not black out in this meeting.
I've gotten so close. My trick then was also to chew gum during that meeting to stay awake.
You would get randomly called on. You had to stay on your toes.
Yeah,
right.
It's painful.
Yeah.
It was hard.
When Mr. Iwata was there, we did learn that about him. Is like he liked to just call people out of the blue. Like, what did you think? And he's not doing it. He's not doing it like a mean teacher of like, hey, you look like you're dozing off.
No, he's just interested in what
he wanted to know.
But you would be like on pins and needles.
But it was like the act of being asked a question by him. Like, I really need to like anticipate what could come my way.
Right.
And your brain is just not there yet.
Your brain can't do it.
Yeah.
And he would always do it in the sweetest way. He'd look at you with a smile and say, Krysta, what do you think?
Yeah. Somehow he was not tired. He was loving it.
Oh man, that man is amazing.
Right.
Like he was never tired. He was always so sharp, and I was like, my brain was like melting.
We just look like a mess. Just like
got a spaghetti stain. You soiling out your pants already. Like it was bad. We were not put together like Mr. Iwata.
Built different.
He's like jogging in the morning, and you're like soiling out your pants. Exactly.
That's not what happened. People are gonna get the wrong idea. That's not why the pants split, okay?
That's what you say. We don't know.
But there was always Reggie, and he talked about this in his book. He always had a very nice, like, thank you event afterwards where you get together and just completely decompress and just share some fun stories before getting out of there.
Yeah.
And you could always know who made the rookie move of like, hey, I'm on the 7 a.m. flight on Friday. It's like,
oh, you're a loser.
Buddy, you messed up.
Yeah.
There's no reason.
There was one time we did share a car to the airport with somebody, and he was sitting in the front seat kind of halfway out the window.
It was like that scene from the Batman where the Joker had his head out the window like a dog.
Yeah. And I was like, hey, how are you doing? He's like, good. No, what did he say? He said, good, not great, or something like. No, it was
bad to poor.
Bad to poor. Yeah. It was bad to poor. Yeah. I was like, oh.
We were in much better shape than he was. But there's no reason. You can take your time getting out on Friday.
No.
There's absolutely nothing is happening on Friday for us.
Yeah. I would always get on like sort of a early afternoon flight.
Perfect.
So you can have time to pack in the morning, get breakfast, get a coffee.
Perfect.
So you can wake up a little bit from just a long week.
My goodness.
Yeah, and then you would sleep for the next 72 hours, pretty much.
That weekend, that post E3 weekend was really just, I'm not doing anything but staying in bed.
I literally would sleep for 72 hours.
Getting my life and body back in order.
Yeah, usually it was like you get home, you have like something for dinner, and you get home and you just go to bed at like 6 o'clock.
Yeah.
And then you don't wake up until like Sunday at 6 o'clock. So.
I did find though that weekend I was like really invigorated to like play some games though, because you come away from it just like so pumped of like,
that's true.
Yes, I'm gonna play these games.
Yeah, because you're like, finally.
You're excited. You like can catch up on some of the stuff you might have missed if there was anything.
True. You can stay in bed and watch YouTube recaps.
Yeah, that weekend was fun and relaxing.
Yes, and it's always nice that like you come away from it.
It's over.
Hopefully it's a good show and you feel good about the work you did and everyone feels good and you can have a little bit of rest. So,
but it's all over. Maybe there'll be an E3 next year, but it'll be different. It won't be like that.
It won't be like that, and it won't be like that for us, like ever again. So, it's kind of nice to, it's nice to have lived through it. I'm so glad I never have to do it again because it really is really hard on you physically, mentally, spiritually. Now it's really nice to go into another phase of our life where we get to enjoy the surprises and look at, whatever becomes of E3 in the future in a different way.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Speaking of that, though, in our Never a Minute segment, it's time to make some predictions.
Oh, yeah.
So we're going to do Xbox Game Showcase predictions first.
They announced it first.
We know that's coming.
Yeah. Xbox and Bethesda.
Oh, excuse us, yes. Xbox and Bethesda and soon to be Activision. Hopefully they will shorten that in the future.
Yeah.
But no, we're going to get our predictions out for all the big events. We're going to start with this.
Yep.
Who knows when a Nintendo thing could get announced, so we might need to just do that before it gets announced. I think we should.
Maybe next week. They're going to announce it at any moment. So
how many of these do you have? You have no notes at all.
It's in my head.
I have, let's count them. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I have 7 predictions.
Wow.
That's how sure I am that all of these are going to be true. 7
predictions.
Well, okay, I'll give you 7, and I'll give you like 1 or 2 that are like a lock that I feel like so confident in.
Okay.
One thing that is a bit tricky is, again, like, there are more events to be announced, I feel.
Right.
So if it's like, well, if there's
and what's going where?
Some third-party game, like, would it be here? Would it be there? There's one thing where I'm hedging my bets, but we'll get to it.
It's like usually if there's multiple things, it's like which announcement is going where?
Right.
It's like that game.
May I begin?
Please.
All right. I'm going to say that this is one of my locks. This is a very sensible, not out there, not crazy prediction, but I feel very confident that we're going to get a major Halo Infinite roadmap update.
Okay.
Because they have some stuff that they have not really pinned down.
Yeah.
And has just been floating out there, like the co-op stuff.
The co-op stuff has been talked about for a long time.
And they've had some dates that they've kind of put out there, but pulled back a little bit. Forge is another big thing that people want that they've been kind of dancing around. So I could see that being like very early.
Yeah.
And like, to kick us off, we'd like to give you a significant update on the state of Halo Infinite or something like that.
That's true. Yeah.
And we'll probably get some firm-ish time frames.
Yeah, for when those updates might be launching.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. That's my first one.
Okay.
Do you want to trade off? Or?
Sure.
Yeah.
I do think even though they announced the delay
for
Starfield,
yes,
I think that there is going to be some sort of update in the showcase
I agree.
For that game. I think that either it's going to be like maybe a bigger story trailer, narrative trailer.
Yeah.
They may show some actual gameplay, but even we know the game's delayed. It's fine. But I still think it's going to be kind of a big part of this.
I agree.
Okay.
I feel it's beyond a lock for me. I'm not even calling it a lock because I
think this is a lock.
It's more than a lock.
What is more than a lock?
I don't know. That's for you. That's for you to decide. But I think we see gameplay.
You think we see game? I think we see gameplay.
Yeah, I mean, if you're not going to show gameplay now, then when are you going to do it?
Exactly. When?
And I mean, it's not that long of a delay.
Right.
So I mean, I'm sure they've got something.
It's going to be launched the same day as Breath of the Wild.
And if you start taking that away, then it's like, well, what do you even have to show beyond just like this stuff that's way far out? You need something that's a bit more tangible to. I mean, it can't.
Yeah.
Can't be all Halo Infinite updates.
Or can it? Yeah. No, just kidding. Like 1 hour.
We're adding this skin. We're also adding this skin. We're adding this gun.
You can put this stamp on your armor. You can put
2 hours of that
prints on your armor. Okay, so
this event does sometimes go a little long.
Xbox events are notorious for being a little like rambly.
I've always felt like they could use like a bit more editing to just take it down like, I don't know, 25% or something.
We don't need it to be like 2 hours.
Yeah.
As
1 hour,
a
1 hour
podcast.
Max. 1 hour max, please.
I would say like, under an hour would be great.
All right.
But hey, next for you.
Let me give you my next, this is not a lock, we'll get to it. I think we're going to get news of one more acquisition by Xbox. But this is an important detail. It's not going to be big. It's going to be kind of a smaller studio, maybe an indie-ish studio, because the Uncle Sam is going to be coming down on Microsoft if they're like, yeah, we bought EA too.
Well, they can't buy EA. That's not going to happen.
Well, yeah, because of that.
It's a monopoly.
This is what I'm saying.
It's getting monopoly.
So they're getting kind of to that point where it's like, are you just buying everybody?
It's a little suspicious.
But I think this is maybe the last little trickle they've got is like, oh, and we've got one other studio that you know of that does cool stuff that we have acquired and brought to the family.
Okay.
I don't have a prediction for who that is, but I feel like that will be a thing that they have. It's not going to be like, I think that was a couple years ago where they had like, hey, here's these 12 dozen, here's these dozen studios that we bought. Yeah. It won't be crazy like that.
Just be like one.
But I think at least one more.
Okay. I didn't even think they're going to do any acquisitions in this. I thought they're going to be more focused on gameplay stuff, but could happen.
Okay.
They're very business oriented, so.
That's right.
Who knows?
Good.
The big business.
That's right.
The other one that I think game-wise, I don't know how much of a lock this is. I would like to see this, but update on new Fable would be cool.
Define update.
New game.
Well, we already know that's coming.
I know, but like we don't know much about it. So
you're being very vague, just like them. What are you
exactly?
What are you predicting?
When is this next Fable game coming?
A launch date is what you're saying.
Maybe
do
a
we
launch
see
time
it?
frame.
Do we see it?
We do see it. Well, I want to see it. I think I would like to see it. I hope that they show it.
Well, I mean, I would like to see it too.
Yeah, I think this is a good time for them to do it, though.
This is my other lock, that we will not see it.
You don't think we will see it?
I don't think we'll see it.
Why is that?
I don't know. You hear there's some like scuttlebutt that gets out of like, oh, this game is a real handful for this team, and I get the sense that this is that game where they like show the CG trailer for, but you're not going to hear from in like a couple. They've got a couple things that are like that. This like new Perfect Dark game.
Oh yeah,
going to be years
that
out.
One I don't think it's going to.
You heard about this? Oh, we got this team that's making this new Gears of War, but it's like, oh, they're really taking it. It's like they got some stuff that is just taking a long time.
They have to show one of them though. It's been such a weird.
I don't think it's going to be this one.
You know, I think it might be.
I'm putting this in the lock. I don't think we see it.
Okay, I'm going to go opposite
I mean, I would love to see it.
I'm going to go the opposite way. I think we do see it.
Is that a lock for you?
I'll put it in my predictions, yeah.
You put it in your predictions?
I'll put it out there.
The thing that you just said, you'll put it in.
There.
Okay, fine.
I don't know. I mean, I myself don't know how sure of a thing this is going to be, but I'm going to manifest this out there that we see it.
All right, what do I got? What do I have left here? Okay, this is one. I think we're definitely getting this at some point in the next couple weeks. This is a third-party thing, so it could either be. I don't think this is a PlayStation thing. I think this will be an Xbox thing if it's in their event. This is a Ubisoft thing. I think we're going to get news about a new Assassin's Creed.
Okay.
Because it's been 2 years since we had Valhalla.
Oh, that's true.
Now, Ubisoft is leaky.
They're very
leaky. So there's two rumored things that are going around. There's one game that it's like, I think the code name is like Infinity or something, which is this kind of like game as a service, like all the new games will hook into that and you'll just be playing that forever.
Right.
But there's also this rumor of this other game that's a bit smaller that was like a DLC that they built into a full game. Mm-hmm. I think that's the one that we'll be hearing about. There's all sorts of rumors about what the theme for that could be that I will not say. Good thing you don't know.
I don't know. I don't want to know.
Because otherwise you would say it.
I would.
You got called out for spoilers.
One time.
In your own Discord. You got called out for spoilers.
For the Chip and Dale Rescue Rangers movie that I hadn't watched yet.
That you hadn't seen.
But I'm sorry.
You went too far. You crossed a line.
Apparently.
But I do think, whether it's announced in a Ubisoft event, they'll show it again in Xbox. Or I think we'll see something about that in here.
It's a little wishy-washy, but okay.
I'm pumped. Well, a Ubisoft event has not been announced yet. Again, this is why it's important to say this event could get announced on Monday, Tuesday.
It could be, yeah, that's true. Any moment it could be
I'm pretty sure they will do one.
They'll definitely have one.
They definitely have enough to do one.
They have enough to announce, for sure.
So it's just a matter of what gets the lead announcement, but I think it'll be
and what doesn't leak. That's what's going
to it's all already leaked.
I mean, more so than it is now, I suppose. More so. God, they are so. What is going on?
There's something.
Why is it like a sieve over there? I don't understand.
They're not great at that.
It's okay. Whatever. It's fine. Don't worry, Ubisoft. You do you.
It's fun for us.
You do you.
Yeah.
My other one is just maybe like another overhaul or not overhaul. That's not the right word. Some sort of update to Game Pass.
Oh.
Yeah.
Like some games coming to it, or
some games coming to it. Maybe like. Is there another tier or something that they might add?
Oh, very interesting.
Because I'm just wondering how they're reacting to the expanded like PSN stuff. Game Pass is like sort of like the hill that they stand on for like this is why we're great. Like you get all this stuff.
Right.
So I wonder if they're gonna bring like some other like big name games over.
Yeah.
I know like No More Heroes is coming. That's a pretty big one. Like is there other bigger ones from well-known developers that are going to be added.
Right.
Is there more tiers? I don't know.
Yeah.
Like, is there a premium Game Pass?
Yeah, I'd say that's pretty certain. Some sort of a Game Pass update.
Yeah. Yeah. So that's another one for me.
Okay.
I'll put in the predictions list.
You're not really swinging for the fences with these predictions.
You didn't agree with my Fable one.
Okay. Well, we'll see. It's good. It's good for us to have some disagreement.
That's right.
So always got to have a winner and a loser.
Always.
Always.
Sometimes
in life.
We go a little too far, but
It's like that thing I posted. It's not enough for me to succeed. Others must fail.
At least I didn't split my pants.
That's a good yearbook quote.
So.
Well, sometimes I fail. Sometimes my pants explode. Not from Soylent, though. All right. We're getting down to this is a good one. A series we enjoy on the Bethesda side. Wolfenstein 3.
Oh.
It's been a couple years,
it's been a few years
since we had one of those.
Yeah,
That had that other little spin-off, that like co-op spin-off. That one didn't do that well.
I didn't do that well.
Actually didn't play that one.
Yeah.
But
one came to Switch. That was interesting.
Well, they've all come to Switch.
Oh, have they?
Well, actually, I guess the first one didn't.
Yeah.
Two in that spinoff did. Yeah. But we both like the series a lot.
Yeah, I did. I love the series.
It just feels feels like it's time. The series seems to have kind of a good schedule to it, unlike some of these other Microsoft games.
And it's very like it's a little bit more predictable.
Yeah.
You know how the cadence for this one goes.
Right.
So
right.
Can see that. What about Redfall? We're gonna see more Redfall? What do you think? I kind of feel like Redfall and Starfield are like kind of on the same trajectory in terms of like timing and stuff. So I wouldn't be surprised if we saw a little update on that too. Yeah.
I'll be honest, that game's not super high on my like hype meter.
List. I want to know more about this game before I totally write it off.
Sure.
Like it definitely didn't like sparkle as much for me either, but it seemed interesting. It's a little different. Like, just give me more so I can make a decision on whether or not to pay attention or not. So,
I got one more.
All right, that was my last one.
It's big.
So tell me your
earth-shattering announcement.
Here we go.
We're getting the new Xbox refrigerator. Are you ready for this?
I want an Xbox mini fridge.
Well, that's what they made. This is the new version.
Oh.
You want some new hardware? This is what you're getting. You're getting a refrigerator.
You know what the other one I want is an Xbox face cream fridge. Have you seen those?
Huh?
They make these little tiny countertop refrigerators for your face creams and your face masks.
Do you need that?
It's nice to have a chilled face cream for your morning and evening routine. They make those.
Okay.
They should make an Xbox version of it. I would buy that.
Maybe that's what it is.
I hope so. Will you make...
But that one year that they had all those games fall out, that became like the central marketing point.
That's true.
Hey,
but we have a fridge.
Xbox refrigerator. We got some marketing dollars burning a hole in our pocket now. That's going to be the big closer. Xbox refrigerator. Okay. Series X.
Series X.
Below Zero edition.
It's Sub-Zero.
Well, that's a character. Can't say that.
Oh.
That's different.
That's different.
That might be in another prediction.
That might be in another prediction.
All right, don't spoil it. You're spoiling my predictions for the future. You can't stop, but you can't help yourself but spoil.
I'm just so like perceptive on what people want to hear and see. It's not my fault that I have the oracle divination.
Serious question though. Do you think there's any sort of hardware news here?
I don't think so.
I don't think so either.
I don't think so.
I think this.
I think they got a good thing going here.
And I think this, this
is good.
This chip shortage.
It's not good for anybody.
It's got everybody shook up.
Everyone's a little shooketh.
It's like we need to focus on what we're making now.
And they got a good thing going with this Game Pass, this cloud stuff. Like let them.
Yeah.
They're gonna want to sort of pump that and not another.
Yeah. Maybe next year might be more likely, but it feels too soon.
It is way too soon. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, that's it. Lock it in. Put it into the prediction box. Close the lid. We need to write these down, by the way.
Well, I did. You didn't.
Well, I can just watch this episode. And then everything is recorded.
That's where you come back to. I never said that. There's no evidence of that.
Yeah, we'll put this somewhere. We'll bundle it together, and then we will do a reaction video.
And when it's exactly what happens, you can thank us.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah. That's
and don't come at me because it's a spoiler because I was right. Okay.
You looked into the crystal ball.
That's right, the crystal ball. All right.
Okay, what we're playing.
Yeah.
I think we got some quick hits on this week.
Yeah.
There's again, we're in a post Elden Ring world.
It's a weird world to be in.
It's different.
I still get a lot of like suggested videos from YouTube.
Oh, absolutely.
And like sometimes I'm like very tempted to just watch it.
Well, when that's been your life for 3 months,
it's so weird.
It's gonna happen.
Such a strange place to be. But I am still chipping away at this Cyberpunk.
Good.
I've made some really good progress. Keanu Reeves is very much in my life now, which is very interesting.
Yeah,
I really like it so far. My only like little complaint, I think you had mentioned this earlier too, is that like for like an open world game, some of the areas do feel like a little sparse. Yeah. I actually don't love the game in the daytime.
You said that. I thought that was interesting.
Yeah, the daytime I feel like is a little generic looking almost. It's just like I kind of don't feel like I like really get a good sense of like what Night City is in the daytime.
Well, it's
called Night City for probably a reason, so there you go. But like at night, it definitely feels like, I wish it was just perpetually night. Like it just feels, it's got a vibe.
I guess when you think of like Blade Runner, they don't have a lot of scenes during the daytime.
Exactly.
For a reason.
Yeah. Because it's great. Like it doesn't look cool. You don't have the neon. the way they do like the neon and like the reflection on like the sidewalks, and then you go into these like kind of like seedy clubs and these other like weird things. Yeah. It's like it really works only at night, you know. Yeah. So yeah, the story is really interesting too. Like I really did not expect it to take this sort of turn, but it's like it's one of those stories where like you can kind of like weirdly envision it happening in real life in the future.
Yeah,
like it's like. Technology could potentially do this in the future. Like all of these things are like actually possible. It's a little scary. You're like, oh.
And it has just the right amount of jank where it's like, oh yeah, you would need to take a USB cable out of your wrist to
to like jack
use an ATM or something.
Exactly. Or like you talk to like an AI and they have like some weird like malfunction. It's like that would be how humans would invent this, in the future or whatever. Yeah. And like the self-driving car, I think is really funny. The Delamine or whatever. So I'm chipping away. I don't think I'm, like super far from the end either because this game's really short. Yeah. So I'm hoping to like wrap it up in the next couple of days. But I like it so far. It's really good. No bugs still. Everything has worked well for me.
Yeah, they seem to have fixed it.
They've really fixed it, yeah. You've been playing some little things, though?
I have just not found something to really grab me the last couple days, which is fine because I just need this poo-poo platter of games to just jump around from. So
forest of games.
One night I played Shovel Knight Pocket Dungeon, which... you said
it was hard.
I was surprised, yeah. So this is kind of like the puzzle game, Shovel Knight. You like Shovel Knight, right?
I love Shovel Knight. Okay. I'm not very good at Shovel Knight, but I love Shovel Knight.
Nobody loves Shovel Knight as much as Nintendo Power Podcast host Chris Slate, though.
Oh my gosh, Chris Slate is like
he is
the
number one fan
child of Shovel Knight.
But we're up there. We're high up there.
We're high up there. Yeah, we've done many Shovel Knight videos. We've are good friends with the team there.
Right. Yeah. Right. So this is a puzzle game. You're kind of on the field, you are Shovel Knight, and you're still breaking stuff, but there's a mechanic where, if there's like a grouping of bricks together, if you hit one, you break them all.
Break all of them.
Or same with enemies. If there's one, you hit one, you break it all.
Okay.
And you kind of go through these different, dungeons basically, and the ultimate goal is you get the key and you get out. There were two ways that you could choose to play, which were interesting. I think I might have chosen the wrong one.
Uh-oh. There's a wrong one?
Well, so there's one where you can just keep coming back to life if you die because the enemies hit you back when you attack them.
I see.
And the idea is you can keep coming back, but if you hit the Tetris thing where there's too many blocks, it's game over.
Buried or whatever. Yeah.
That's what I chose because I thought that was going to be easier than the alternative, but I was having a hard time with it. The other one is you only have one life.
Oh.
Right. But there's other kind of trade-offs that make it, I guess, supposedly easier.
Okay.
I think I might have been better off choosing that because, I chose the other one and I was just having a hard time with it.
Like getting through it.
Yeah, so maybe just the labeling of that was a bit tricky. But, there's like power-ups that you can get. There's stuff that you can equip. So it's definitely a very full kind of game. But I don't know. It just didn't completely click with me. Just Shovel Knight 2, please.
Yeah. Where's that at?
That's what we're ready for.
That's what the people are wanting.
Well, they made too many Kickstarter promises, is what it is.
It's tough to fulfill all those promises, right? I bet that's tricky. Yeah.
Yeah. But we will always love and support Shovel Knight.
Always.
The other game, this is interesting. So, when we had the indie showcase, there was that game Tabs that I was very excited about. And some people came out and said, hey, that's out now on Game Pass.
So you're like, perfect.
So I just got that one night and I was like, all right, I'm just jumping ahead here and I'm going to play this Tabs.
And?
It was a little different from what I expected. It felt less like a game and more just kind of like this free-form kind of like app or toy kind of thing because there wasn't a lot of structure to it. It was just kind of like, hey, why don't you set up these battles?
And then like watch them
and then you hit a button and they kind of play out.
Oh. Is it like a physics kind of?
Well, there's definitely a lot of physics to the way that these... people are like bopping each other
and stuff,
and and it's fun to like.
Is it supposed to be like you need to cause some sort of chain reaction with all of them?
Well, I mean, there's a lot of different units that you can use.
Okay.
But again, the game didn't do the best job of kind of explaining that to you or showing that to you. So a lot of this was just kind of like trial and error on my part. But they're kind of like grouped by like historical periods. So there's like
Oh, that's cute.
cavemen, and then there's like medieval knights, and then there's like kind of like it gets samurai.
Oh, samurai.
Which was neat, and that was fun to make some like matchups of different kind of eras of history.
Yeah.
But I just kind of came away from it wishing the game had a bit more like structure to it.
Okay.
Of like, all right,
it's like too much freedom.
Yeah. And maybe that's what they were going for, of like, hey, you just have your own fun and we'll give you the tools, and it's like little action figures. You're having like these little battles.
Oh, you're like imaginary.
Yeah.
Like a kid.
And there's definitely strategy and depth to it. But again, it was maybe just thrown a little bit too much into the deep end all at once.
Okay.
So I probably should go back to it. But I had to keep moving because this Mario Strikers demo came out.
Yeah.
Which was the last thing I played. I don't know if you played this.
I tried to play it, but I unfortunately logged on during a not open time. Yeah. But I did the tutorial to just kind of figure out the moves and do some of that. It's a little disappointed that I missed the little time.
Well, it hasn't started yet.
What?
You have not been keeping it locked to Nintendo.com, ma'am.
I think it's like
June. It's not June yet.
Oh, is that
as of the
what
time
it
of
is?
recording? Yeah. It was strange that they put it out so far in advance of those times.
Oh, I thought it was this weekend. No.
No. It was.
I was confused.
Yeah, it's kind of like the Switch Sports test where there was like very narrow windows of time where you could do it, and they haven't happened yet. So in the meantime, all you can do is the kind of tutorial, which was That's a really long. That's like an hour-long tutorial.
It was really long, and some of the stuff I could not do. I was like, this is kind of hard.
Yeah, I'm kind of curious to see in the final game, like, there's a fine line between like having a lot of fun and interesting mechanics versus having one too many. Yeah, one
like,
or
why do I need 4 different ways to charge and dodge? Like I was a little confused. And then like they make you do they make you like execute the moves a number of times after each lesson. Yeah. Like by the 5th lesson or whatever, I like could not do it. I was like, what button do I press? Like what's going on?
Yeah.
It's really hard.
My guess is they were really just laying it on thick, and that the actual game, you won't have to do all of that stuff, or you'll have more times to practice and learn that. But
I don't remember the one.
I was like, wow, this is the most hardcore tutorial I've done in the game in like a long time.
I know. I was like, I don't remember the other Mario Strikers being like this,
right,
but okay.
Right.
Yeah, because like the fun part of those kinds of like sports Mario games is like you easily can execute like a special. Yeah. And they do like a cool move, and then you like like in tennis, Mario Tennis, like it's fun to do that. Like I hope it's more like that, and not like let me make you do like finger gymnastics to execute anything. Right. Yeah.
It is interesting that this demo is leading with the online stuff, like Switch Sports.
Yeah.
I
wish I knew how it
you would
worked,
want a demo to very quickly convey the fun of the game.
Yeah.
And I'm sure there's a lot of people who, like you, are like, oh, let's play this demo. And it's like, thanks for playing. It just kicks you out immediately.
It kicks you out immediately. I didn't even, I must have not even registered the date in my brain. Because I was like, oh.
I mean, how many people who are downloading this actually know?
Yeah, I don't know.
So
I actually did not know.
It's a curious strategy.
It is very strange.
That I really wonder if it's working.
Yeah.
Versus being a turnoff.
Yeah, especially if the tutorial is an hour long and it's kind of hard.
Yeah.
It's like, is this going to make people... Like, I'll still definitely play it, obviously. Right. And I think it looks cool. Like, I mean, it's fun to see, like, the different, like, moves and everything like that. But if you never played this game before, if it's your first Strikers game, then you don't have like
it could be daunting.
It could be a little bit, it could be a little bit intimidating for sure.
Yeah.
It's kind of interesting. Okay, so here I am again, once more.
Don't post these screenshots
confused by
read the fine print.
By Nintendo's test fires. Why?
That's why you keep it locked, as the saying goes.
I'm very locked in.
You need alerts.
Still following all
daily
these social
alerts.
Channels. Still
post.
Locked in. This is what happens when, like, I don't know. I have no idea what happens, but I clearly did not.
This is what happens when you become just a fan. You forget. You miss out. You don't know what's going on.
This is a good lesson to know that not people that are... I am a big Nintendo fan, yet I am also still confused. And I used to work there, and I'm confused. Okay, so this is maybe... Take this to heart, Nintendo. Yeah. I don't know.
I'm still very excited for the whole game.
Me too, yeah.
I don't think that stuff is going to be a problem once you actually get playing.
I think so, yeah. I hope that it's just like multiplayer fun. Like,
but again, just a very little heavy-handed way to roll it out there.
Yeah, I do like all the little like the little losing animation that they have, like people are showing. Like, like Peach's dodge was really fun. She does like cartwheels and stuff. Right. Like those things are the cool, awesome things about like Mario sports games and especially Strikers. So I hope that that's like the main focus of it. So.
Yeah, I was like, gosh, I feel like it's been a long time since I played Mario Striker. I had to remember, like, that game's on GameCube and Wii. It's been a long time.
Been a really long time.
Yeah, so it wasn't just my mind like
That's
playing
what I'm
tricks.
saying. If you did not play the game on GameCube, this is your first experience. Oh man, it might be a little weird.
Yeah.
So, anyways, we'll wait patiently until the full game comes out, or until whenever this test fire really launches, and we'll try it then, I guess.
All right.
News.
On to the news. So Nintendo put out they've been doing this series, Ask the Developer.
Yes.
Which is kind of, it's in the spirit of Iwata Asks.
But not.
It's not the same.
It's not the same. I mean, nothing will be
there's kind of, a faceless, nameless person asking the questions.
Yeah.
So you do lose
the legitimacy
the charm.
And the charm.
And the humor. And you do still get some interesting bits that you wouldn't get otherwise, but it's not as fun of a read.
It doesn't feel like personal anymore. It just feels like an interview.
Right.
Which is fine. I mean, interviewing a developer is still interesting.
Right.
So.
But this is out for Switch Sports and some interesting stuff in there. Did you read this?
I did, yeah.
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 It sounds like this had a very rocky development.
It did.
Which you may not have expected.
I thought it was a very like formulaic. I would have thought that this was very formulaic.
Yeah.
Because it's like you had games on these other consoles that sort of is like your stepping stone to what logically feels like the next step for Switch, and doing a sports game on Switch. So like, what's the big deal?
Right.
But yeah, it seems like there was like all of these things that were like challenges for the team, and like it was just a little bit like strange. Like we were talking about this last night. Like they talked about not even having like motion control.
That was very strange.
What?
And they were also like really struggling with the idea of like a successor to the Mii's, which I understand, and we can see, in the execution. But they had some crazy ideas of like, well, what if you were in a robot and that's what you were controlling?
Yeah.
And there's like
it's almost like they were like too much in their own head.
There was a concept art of like a giant hamburger robot doing
robot.
Like what? And part of me is like, who was in charge of this project? Because it's like these guys needed to get like slapped on the back of the head and be like, what are you doing? Get to work.
Yeah. Just
but on the other hand, like that is, I think, part of the Nintendo magic of like giving developers space to really like
work themselves
explore every angle and every nook and cranny to find an idea.
Yeah.
And I think this was just a case where those nooks and crannies didn't really have a lot in them.
That's right. Yeah, and maybe because of the nature of the game,
like
those are the constructs. Like it's almost like they tried to like go outside the constructs of the nature of a motion-based sports game, but you can't really.
Well, I think they hit on one of the real challenges with this game is like, we went back to those first two Wii Sports games, and a lot of the good sports ideas we'd already done. So it's like, well, what can we do?
You can't really iterate on something that's
and you can see that here where it's like, we brought back tennis and bowling because those were classics, and we brought some new stuff that's a bit more complex, and then we've got badminton, which is a weird kind of almost the same as tennis.
Yeah.
So like what you would think would be such a straightforward game, but like really a lot of twists and turns.
Do you think they would have been better off if they had just sort of thrown out the window this idea of having to sort of like reinvent the wheel and just did better what was already good in these other games? Like, what if they just did like tennis, bowling, baseball, boxing, all the classic ones that already were popular, just like super polished, like super well done, and like, using all of the power of Switch and the new, technology and the Joy-Con? Like, do you think that would have been a better approach to what we got now?
Well, either way, Switch Sports needs more content.
Yeah.
And hopefully we get that post-launch. But if it was like, it's 50-50 classics and...
I don't think people would complain, honestly.
I wouldn't complain.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
It's like, maybe this is a situation where you didn't really need to like reinvent the wheel. And they were trying so hard to like prove that they could that it kind of ultimately like became lackluster.
Right.
Because I have not gone back to this game since like the first week it came out, honestly. the non-Mies turned me off.
The Mies turned you off too, though.
Well, the Mies on the weird body turned me off. I would have rather been in a hamburger robot, for God's sakes. Just kidding. The whole character thing really turned me off.
Yeah.
Obviously the lack of variety is a little bit like once you do the sports that are there, you're like, okay, what now?
Yeah.
You know, and the online's all right, but the collectivity, the collecting part of it didn't really motivate me.
Right.
So it's like, I don't know. I would have liked it if they just did what was so magical about those other sports games like super well.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
I don't know. That's
interesting
my
read though if you'd like to learn more.
One person has really cool hair.
That person did have very cool hair.
Very cool hair.
Very
I was
stylish,
like, oh,
very
wow,
cool.
very stylish. Yes.
We got back-to-back PlayStation news here. So there is a new State of Play.
There is.
On June 2nd, which is...
That's coming up.
I think that's the day that this episode comes out for everybody.
Yeah.
If you're not a Patreon member. But it is not the Giganto E3...
It's not the one. That's why it's so early, you see.
So this is really interesting where they obviously have some news, but they also have the big news.
They gotta make you focus on the big news, the day of the big news. So they're taking all the small stuff and the things that don't fit into that bigger.
But you're kind of stepping into the pool of, Summer Game Fest, Xbox. It's like, maybe why not do this in May? Maybe it just wasn't ready.
Probably wasn't ready.
It's a tricky needle to thread what they're trying to do here.
This must have been like their last date that they had before it becomes like too close to the other things.
Yeah, so they have on the PlayStation blog, it says, we'll have some exciting reveals from our third-party partners, plus a sneak peek at several games in development for PlayStation VR 2. What's interesting is, so when they did the tweet on social media, it didn't say that. It just said, new State of play.
And everyone thought it was the one.
And it was click through to the blog for the details. But the blog is just this little 2-sentence, this is all the blog was.
Why didn't they just put it in the thing?
Like, at Nintendo, we put ourselves over the coals to what is the most clear way to not have people go out of their minds and expect something crazy.
It was it got to a point where at Nintendo, the writing of it was like, tune in for games launching this year, 35 minutes.
It was like weeks of crafting this line.
This one line. Yeah, they clearly did not get the memo, but whatever.
And I think that's always been a struggle with these State of Plays is they don't seem as concerned with that.
Yeah.
But I clicked on the
expectation management.
I clicked on that, looked at some replies. It was like God of War release date, awesome, and it's just like oh my gosh.
Then you had like a flashback to the trauma of these at Nintendo.
Oh my god, it's like
here we go.
It's impossible because even when we did that at Nintendo, people will still fly off the handle.
I think they want to, and that's fun for them. So
I have seen some people who would know say there may be some actual big third-party announcements here.
That's true.
I guess we'll see. Don't say it. Don't say it unless you have a bold prediction you'd like to put out there. No. Yeah, so I'll watch this, but I am keeping my expectations very low.
I'm sure they're saving the big
thing
news.
Is still to come.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then this was interesting.
Oh, I saw this.
PlayStation keeps pushing into TV and film. So they have a couple projects already in the works, but they it's reported they're working on a Horizon show for Netflix.
Yep.
And then this other one was interesting, a Gran Turismo series.
How's that a show? But okay.
That could feature the director of District 9.
I love that movie.
But Gran Turismo is not that. What?
Could it be the next Fast and Furious? Now that we don't have any more Fast and Furious. Could that fill the gap?
I mean, we'll always have more Fast and Furious, right?
It's not saying
Even
anymore.
when they say they're going to stop, they're not going to stop. Vin Diesel cannot be stopped. He's going to keep finding people.
He's going to keep fighting. He's going to keep Tokyo drifting through the streets.
He's going to be chanting family, 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 family.
Stop it.
I could go all day, and so can he, making these movies.
Oh my goodness.
Are you excited for a Horizon TV show?
I am. I saw someone was like, hey, you should cast that girl that was in, Marvel.
Cast the person from that thing.
Falcon, Captain America.
Brie Larson?
No.
What are you talking about?
Oh my gosh! Now I have to like look her up. But she was the villain in the Falcon one. The Falcon
I don't know
series.
who you're talking about, but okay.
The villain, the little girl.
Yes, we need Aloy.
Cast her.
The casting,
Aloy.
maybe that's something we can do is fan cast this TV show, and you can actually remember who this person is.
Cool.
But yeah, they've got kind of shows or movies lined up for all of their big properties.
Yeah.
Again, Sony needs money. So hopefully, the people that they're pairing these up with seem legit. So it's not just like a cheap cash grab. There's the God of War thing that's supposedly with Amazon.
So where they're like splitting it up though.
Uncharted movie has come out. I didn't see that. Did you see that?
I didn't see it.
Yeah.
I like how it took so long for it to come out. They had to make they recast that. Who was it? They recast it as like the older guy instead of
Marky Mark?
Yeah, they had to recast him as like the older guy.
Sully?
Sully, yeah.
Bad day for you remembering names.
Sorry, I'm having
the guy
a really
from the
hard
thing.
time.
I don't know.
They had to recast him as Sully instead of as
as Nathan Drake.
Nathan, yeah,
really?
yeah.
That happened.
That happened because it took so long for the movie to come out. Because he got old in real life.
But the half tuck is all you need.
He got old in real life.
Yes. We better keep moving on that, or you're going to be in. Yeah, that guy from that thing. They should get him. Yeah, I just don't know his name.
Oh my goodness.
In other news that you were completely oblivious to, Star Wars Celebration happened.
I was oblivious to it until it happened, and I was like, wait, what?
You're living in another universe, because I was all over this, and I was talking to you about this, and you must have just been like,
No, you weren't.
in one ear and out the other.
About Star Wars Celebration.
How dare you?
You did not.
But there was a new game announced.
Yes.
Star Wars Jedi Survivor, which is the sequel to Fallen Order, which is the Respawn game.
Did you play Fallen Order?
Yes.
Did you love Fallen Order, or did you like it?
I liked it, didn't love it. I didn't finish it. So this game it's kind of got two parts to it. There's the part where you're just like out in the open on these planets, like exploring and fighting. That was incredible.
Okay.
Super good. And then they would have these kind of Zelda-style dungeons where the puzzles got a little obtuse for me, and my brain was just like, I can't do this.
Oh, okay.
So
you didn't finish it.
No, but that's a game that's like really easy to get these. It's like it's on Game Pass. It's cheap. It's always on sale.
Yeah.
They did like next gen updates for it, so it's definitely worth playing. It's really well. Respawn they're like one of the best developers out there. Period.
Yeah. Especially for these like cinematic kind of games. So,
my other complaint with that game is the main character is so generic and boring.
Oh, really?
It's just like, yeah, I'm just some dude who's the main character in the Jedi. It's like, they
add some personality.
I feel like they could have done better.
Yeah.
Cal, I believe, is his name.
Okay.
But I'm excited for this because I think there's a really good starting place and a lot to improve on too.
Yeah, maybe they'll like dig into some of the areas that was like really fun and like
and that'll be next year.
Yeah. All right.
That
is it. That's the news for the week until there's more news announced immediately after this recording of the podcast.
On to some questions from our Patreon community.
Yes.
Angelo Vega. Were you surprised when Nintendo let an indie developer work on a Nintendo franchise in Cadence of Hyrule?
Yeah, I mean, it's happened before.
When?
Hasn't it happened before?
I'm just questioning everything you're saying because your memory is shot.
Okay, let me think.
Yeah.
It's definitely, must have happened before. I mean,
this is not Thursday of E3. You cannot have these brain freezes right now.
Has it happened before?
What are you talking about?
When another developer used that?
An indie developer?
Yeah, it has, right? Gotta be another
I'll
example.
just give my answer for this. Okay, keep going, please.
There's gotta be another example.
Let's keep talking. Keep going.
I don't know what this is right now, but I would say that I was surprised, and I think the reason why Nintendo let an indie developer do this was because they truly brought something unique to the table with the way the gameplay worked. Yeah. So I think that's why, if they wanted to do something else that was a bit more of like a cookie cutter idea, then I don't think it would have happened.
Yeah. I was hugely surprised by this. And this is kind of like the duality of Nintendo because on one hand, it's like, yeah,
you can't do anything.
The IPs are on lockdown or the lock and key. Don't you dare even suggest this. But then on the other hand, it's like, yeah, we made this game. We would let this indie developer do whatever they want. And it's like the rules are there, but they will be broken fairly often in surprising ways.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
Yeah.
There's no like formula.
Of course.
Yeah.
And that's good.
It's good.
Especially when the rules are so rigid to begin with.
Exactly.
It's good to loosen them now and then.
Yeah.
Brooke Obscura asks, have your gaming tastes changed as you have gotten older? Are there any games that you wrote off as not your type of game that you returned to later in life and ended up really enjoying?
I don't think mine have. I think my gaming tastes have stayed fairly the same since I was a kid, really. I think obviously now I play, my mom probably wouldn't let me play some of the rated M games when I was a kid, but, I feel like I've always liked narrative-driven games the most. I've always loved, games that doesn't take too much technical skill because I don't have it. And nowadays there's such a resurgence of, like non-traditional quote unquote video games where it's very much like the cozy games or, like an Animal Crossing kind of game. So I think that's all great to add variety to the mix.
Yeah, I'm like you. I don't think the types of games has really changed, but definitely, I prefer a shorter game now.
Oh, okay.
I don't go back and replay a ton of games.
Mm-hmm. So your habits have changed a little bit.
And I also just have, like, I've talked about this, like, zero tolerance for games that, like, take too long to get going or don't respect your time, or it's just like, whoosh, give them the axe.
Yeah.
Because I got too much other stuff.
One thing that I don't do anymore that I used to do is I don't 100% complete games anymore.
Oh, did you used to do that?
I used to do that.
Oh,
because I had time when I was a kid, obviously.
Okay,
and,
yeah.
We were talking about this the other day. It's like, before you would get new games come out so often. We're like inundated, right? In a good way with new games. Now, back in the day, it's like you get a new game every like 6 months or whatever. So you had plenty of time to 100% complete a game. Nowadays, I'm like, I don't have time for this.
No.
Main quest?
We do know some people who are like that. And it's like, wow,
like, how do you...
you might need some help. You're really like obsessed with this.
Sometimes they'll like restart like chapters to make sure they get everything. I was like, wow, you really have a lot of patience. I don't have that.
Yeah. Next question is from Fruleo, who asks, what do you think is next in store for Animal Crossing? Fans were a little disappointed to learn that the November 2021 update would be the final update for New Horizons. It seemed like Nintendo was quick to abandon the game, especially when New Leaf was kept alive through its numerous item set collaborations and the welcome Amiibo expansion. Do you think Nintendo is preparing for the next mainline Animal Crossing for Switch?
I don't think.
Well, I don't think it's for Switch.
I don't think it's for Switch. You guys, Animal Crossing, you gotta wait another 7 years.
It's a lot of toilets to re-render.
You gotta render a lot of toilets and dialogue and fish puns. I think, the game obviously had its like cultural phenomenon moment, and there was always sort of a roadmap of DLC that was planned for the game in that year after 2020 when it launched. I too was a little surprised because then we left Nintendo and now we have no idea what's going on. But when we were working on Animal Crossing, I was a little surprised that there wasn't anything sort of beyond. I think your date was November when they came out with the Happy Home Designer paid DLC and then sort of the last update. There's still like the normal seasonal events and things like that. But I think you're right. It's hard to get people to keep coming back to a game like this without like bigger partnerships or bigger moments. So it's a little bit sad. I'll be honest, I haven't gone back to my Animal Crossing game in quite a long time. But I think I would be more incentivized to do that if there was something on the horizon, right?
I just don't want to be in the shoes of these developers. I think it's impossible what they have to do for the next game. It's like, well, you had a major cultural moment. You broke every sales record and expectation you had. Yeah. And that's like, well, how do I top that?
You can't.
But you feel like you have to.
Oh man, yeah.
And
the thing too is that like it happened during a time in the world that is unable to be replicated.
Yeah. Do you think though, obviously it's going to be years and years and years before you get the next mainline. Will they do the Amiibo Festival kind of like little filler side game to just keep it out there?
Probably.
I think they will too.
I think they will.
Obviously Pocket Camp will keep chugging along.
Pocket Camp is there. They might do a little something. They might add an Animal Crossing character into like a DLC for another game. Like, it might be like little things like that. Yeah. But yeah, I highly doubt a mainline Mario game, or I'm sorry, a mainline Animal Crossing game will come out in the next long while.
Yeah.
Yeah. Sorry.
Next question is from Gar. What are your favorite licensed video games? Meaning a game based on a franchise for movies, TV, cartoons, books, comics, and so on.
I do like the Marvel games, like the
Spider-Man, or which ones?
Well, I definitely like the Insomniac Spider-Man games. Yeah. Those are some of my favorites. But I liked Ultimate Alliance.
Yeah.
That was really good.
And X-Men Legends.
Yes, I was going to say, that's kind of similar to X-Men Legends on GameCube that
one's
I also
awesome.
loved.
Yeah.
Yeah, any of these like superhero games I think work really well as a video game because it's like kind of built-in action and all that stuff. And anytime you get to do like multiplayer as like a superhero, I think it's like a winning formula. So
I'm really fascinated by like the NES, SNES kind of era of licensed games because you had these American properties that were getting shipped off to Japan to be made by teams who kind of really didn't know about them.
That's true.
But in a lot of ways completely nailed like the essence. You think of like the Ninja Turtles and like the Simpsons arcade games.
Simpsons arcade game is a
made
classic.
By Konami.
Yeah.
And like
Disney Capcom.
There's no Simpsons in Japan.
They don't have the cultural
in like
relevance,
1990.
Right? Yeah.
So like what did these dev teams have to do to get so immersed?
Yeah. And a lot of it's like based on like language-based jokes and things like that.
But there's so many like in-jokes and references in those games. It's like this is amazing like how they did that. So that era there were great licensed games.
Yeah, you can't replicate.
And it's so
that
interesting.
Either.
Like all those Disney ones, like DuckTales, Rescue Rangers, the Mickey. Now I'm forgetting what the full name is, but Mickey could get all these different like it's kind of like Mega Man-y kind of power ups.
Yeah.
Those were great.
Those are so fun.
Yeah.
I'm telling you, that Little Mermaid Capcom game is still my favorite of all time. Remake that, someone.
Jason E., what are some of the weirdest and most bizarre comments you received on Nintendo Minute episodes?
Well, we got a lot of the same kinds of comments, like, we hate each other. Right. They're actors.
Oh yeah,
a lot of it scripted. Yeah. There was this one person that would leave like semi-threatening, not threatening, but like kind of like almost over the line comments that were like a little bit obsessive. And we had a running joke between myself and producer Stephanie that was like, okay, if Krysta ever goes missing, we are going to look into this person. That was our suspect number one because it was like a little bit like creeped out, like I want a lock of your hair, like kind of like,
oh no,
give me 17 of your eyelashes, kind of like type of comment. So producer Stephanie will know exactly who I'm talking about because she was always concerned about me, and she said, "Don't worry, I will tell the police if anything have happened to you to look at this person."
All right, in lighter side of things, there was a category of comments that you and I were always baffled by, and it's appropriate since we're doing a Zelda video. Like we would do Zelda videos well after Zelda came out.
Yeah.
And there were always people who'd be like, "Oh, I got clickbaited into watching this video. I thought this was the announcement for Breath of the Wild 2."
Oh.
And it's like, is this performance art, this comment?
Performance
because
art.
I don't know why, like the full title is there. You can read it.
Yeah.
I don't know why you would think in a Nintendo Minute video, which is also very clearly called out, why this would be the announcement video for the sequel on 3 p.m. on a Friday afternoon.
That's right. Yeah. There was a lot of those. Like, I think anytime we had anything that was related to an unannounced game, it was like, I thought this was Splatoon 3.
Yeah,
like,
you would get a feeling for when it's like, maybe we shouldn't do this because people are so like worked up about.
There was like a moment around Smash,
right?
Where we were like, okay, no Smash videos
about an announcement or some perceived, like made up announcement, maybe even.
Yeah, like some sort of like rumor that they spun up on their own.
But we didn't let that deter us too much. But yeah, that became like kind of a drag when it was like, oh, I got clickbaited. It's like, I think you clickbaited yourself.
Yeah, you like read this wrong. This is a reading comprehension fail.
We obviously don't want people to think we're announcing the sequel because
why would we? Yeah, we would be in deep trouble if that was really what happened in the title of a video. That's funny. Jason E. Oh wait, no, we just did Jason E. Mad Dog. Ooh, new 5981. Oh yes, Kid had a tweet this week that referenced the Nokia N-Gage.
In Obi-Wan.
It looked exactly like it, actually. It was really funny. Do either of you have a favorite game system released by someone other than the big three or Sega?
I'm going to not entirely answer this question.
Oh?
But I happen to have a basically full collection of Gizmondo stuff.
That's right, you do have Gizmondo.
Which is very strange. So my first job was at this PR agency, and one of our clients was Gizmondo. And I wasn't working on it, but one of my friends and colleagues was. And when he left, he was like, I've got boxes and boxes of Gizmondo stuff. Do you want it? If you don't want it, I'm going to throw it away. And I was like, okay, that seems like some weird curiosity to have.
Like a museum.
But now I'm just lugging it around with me.
You have been lugging around.
And I have,
you've given some away.
It's literally boxes. So I am going to be donating this to the Video Game History Foundation by Frank Cifaldi.
Oh, good.
I've been in touch with him because I need to get this off my hands.
That's great. That's a good place for them to go.
They seem happy to take it. It is a piece of gaming history.
It's a piece of game. That's what I'm saying.
It is a very strange story if you want to look into the story of the Gizmondo.
Yeah. They look a little bit like the N-Gage, actually.
Yes. There were a lot of kind of like bizarre handhelds in that era.
That's true. Yeah.
Yeah. So that's kind of my. I never played it. I never turned it on. They're still sealed in the box.
Sealed. Yeah. I do remember seeing them in your office.
Very strange.
Yeah.
I gotta get rid of these.
Does a Tamagotchi count as a gaming console?
Oh yeah, I think so.
Because I had a lot of those. And I would love to have it again.
Did they make like a lot of versions of Tamagotchi?
They did.
Oh, I didn't know that.
I would love to have it again if it was possible to have it.
They probably still make it.
I used to love mine so deeply. I really grew attached to this little guy. Then it died. I think I ran out of batteries.
Oh no.
Or something. Anyways, but
I have to imagine they're still making Tamagotchi.
I would love, but I want like a retro one. Like I want one.
I'm sure they make that too. Yeah.
I want one that like is the one that I have with a little chicken.
Yeah.
And then you like feed it and it beeps at you. I just loved it. It was so
big.
much fun.
It was huge.
It was kind of like a moment, you know? Like everyone had it. We all like played with it at the same time.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
That's my pick.
Marky Man 64. What are the main differences or similarities you found between Nintendo fans and gamers in general from different countries, both in your firsthand experience and conversations with colleagues?
Great question.
I found some differences with people in Europe, just in like systems or games that they really had in their formative years. So we learned like the NES and kind of early Nintendo was not very big.
Yeah, it's really the handheld
in Europe, right? And it was kind of later on where Nintendo started to get bigger, and they're like,
I feel like Game Boy was bigger.
I grew up on the ZX Spectrum or the Sinclair, and it's like,
what the heck is that?
Not exactly familiar with that,
or
but
maybe
okay,
like arcade stuff.
Right, right. So that was one big difference I noted specifically with Europe. It was like they did not experience that era the same way we did.
Yeah, that's true. And yeah, I would say like
ZX.
Z.
Not Z.
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 I think overall too, in both like Asian countries like Japan, whatever, and like in Europe, like handheld stuff is just way bigger because they have the culture of being on a train.
Right.
And commuting differently than we do here in the US. So it's like whenever we launched like like a DS or something like that. It's like, oh, we gotta beat Europe. It's like, it's impossible to beat Europe because they have like this huge, just sort of like audience of fans that like have a real need for a handheld system.
Yeah.
So that was always really interesting, I thought, because we just have such a different culture here.
There was an era in Japan that was maybe like around, 2007, 8, kind of around the time the iPhone was coming out.
Yeah.
Or before the iPhone was coming out, where like Japan was so far ahead with phones.
Right.
And nowadays, like everybody just has an iPhone.
Right.
But like they had different phones. They were doing different things. They had these cool looking games on their phones. You'd just be on the subway and be like, "What?
What are you playing?
What is this whole
the flippy, the keyboard?
Yeah, the Docomo.
Yeah, the Docomo.
The Docomo, yes. And it was like, we're missing out on something here. Like, why don't we have all this?
Yeah. Even now, mobile games are much like
that whole lineage and perception of games on the phone is very different.
China too is another market where mobile games are just so huge. It's hard for traditional gaming consoles to break in. So all right, Paul Gale Network. If you could pick one in 2023,
only one.
Ooh, if you could only pick one in 2023, which would it be? Day one, play The Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild sequel. watch the Super Mario movie at a red carpet premiere, or, these are hard choices, visit Super Nintendo World in Hollywood on its opening day. Oh, whichever you pick means you're skipping the other two altogether, like permanently. If it's too difficult to axe the other two permanently, then at least for this is a little bit better. Then at least for 12 months.
12 months is a long time.
It's a long time.
It's an impossible choice.
I'm picking number 1.
So,
Breath of the Wild.
So you are playing Breath of the Wild.
I cannot. Yeah, there's no way.
I'm gonna as I'm known to, exploit a loophole.
Oh, here we go.
In Paul Gale's
Breaking the
rules. No, I'm just very carefully poking holes in them. So I would choose Breath of the Wild 2 because I'm hopping on a plane to go to Super Nintendo World in Osaka.
Aha!
Maybe I'm playing the game on the plane.
Okay, because it's not in Hollywood that we can go to that one.
We
gotcha, Paul.
Yeah.
The movie, who cares? The movie you can watch whenever.
I mean, we know nothing about that. That's an absolute
That's a blank.
A black box, as they say.
That's right. So we don't have anticipation.
It's hard. Yeah, it's hard to say I'm going to put all my chips on that.
Can I come with you to Osaka?
Yeah.
Great.
And if you've chosen Breath of the Wild, you can also exploit a loophole.
Oh boy, we're doing it, Paul. We're breaking the rules.
Just wait till you hear about my tax loopholes, which hopefully don't end me up in jail.
Oh no, don't talk about that.
If the IRS is listening,
don't talk about that on
Take
camera.
Take it easy on
accounts, they're going to be shut down.
The loopholes, you see.
Snezkov?
Sneezekov?
I think
with
it's
a little
Snez.
with a little like Waluigi rose.
It's so cute. Okay. No, you're I like is it Olimar?
Yeah.
The profile pic? Anyways, which Nintendo franchises would you like to see an anime adaptation of? I personally love to see a Pikmin anime.
Oh. I mean, there's so many that would work. We talked about Fire Emblem before.
We have.
But I feel like we need another answer.
We need another answer. Yeah. There's definitely a lot. I mean, Zelda could work. That's a kind of a cop-out answer.
But especially, but what if you did it like Wind Waker style?
Yeah. Link doesn't talk, though, so we gotta get around that somehow. Yeah, we'll get around that. Text messages? Use text?
I mean, Metroid would be super cool, like a sci-fi anime. Like,
that'd be really cool.
I feel like there's some really cool atmospheric things they could do with that.
Yeah, there's some story elements, too, that you can make really interesting. Yeah. Too. Yeah.
Pushmo. Make the Pushmo anime.
Crossing.
You cowards. Stop.
Make an Animal Crossing anime.
Great.
That would be so cute.
There was that show in Japan that they did for Animal Crossing that people get out there from now and then. It's like, what is this?
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
You know that there is that Agretzko show that they do that could be done in an Animal Crossing style.
Oh yeah.
Right? That would actually work.
Pushmo, that's my answer. Pushmo. We want more Pushmo.
Okay.
Mo Pushmo.
Mo Pushmo.
Starhole Productions. Sorry if this question has been asked before. It actually has not. But I would like to know, does Nintendo purposely announce new information for its games or products in order to soften the burn of something controversial that they just did? No.
No, because they definitely didn't know when they were about to burn something.
And they don't care.
They don't
either.
care. Yeah.
I mean,
like when they told people that they couldn't stream the E3 thing like the night before, they did not care.
I mean, it's kind of admirable in a sense where it's like,
is it though?
We're doing this thing and we're not going to be like we have conviction that we're doing the right thing. It's not always right. But
I don't think it's admirable.
At least it's not wishy-washy.
I don't think it's
very
think
like
admirable is
ironclad.
I think the word is like they don't have like I don't know, like they don't have like the perception that
sometimes
of
it's
others.
poorly informed.
Maybe.
But it's just like this is what it is.
So it's like a little stubborn almost in a way
it's
too.
absolutely stubborn.
In like a very unexplained kind of way.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's frustrating. But no, because they don't care. All right. Video game stupid. Haven't been here in a while. Well, come
why
back.
not?
So not sure where to post questions anymore. Oh, anywhere. But here it goes. On episode 8 of the podcast, not the show. Thank you for the clarification. Kit mentioned he was a huge fan of Star Wars. What were both your reactions to Yoda, Darth Vader, Star Killer as guest characters in Soul Calibur 4? And do either of you think guest characters are good for that franchise, or are they distractions?
Well, I was working at Namco when this happened.
Oh. Then you must have a hot take on this.
I had forgotten that Star Killer was part of that group, though. That's not my favorite character. We do need to give some credit to Soul Calibur for being very early to the guest character thing with Link and Heihachi and Spawn. Yeah. Let's not forget Necrid also. Shout outs to Necrid.
like a weird cast of. But this is like paving the way.
Soul Calibur
for
2
Smash,
GameCube
basically.
was hot stuff, red hot stuff, and Link.
This is a big partnership.
Link was a
for
good
Soul
character.
Calibur.
No, so we had at the time like a real like prototypical biz dev person who was just pounding the pavement, cold calling, making these deals.
Wow, that's
and
impressive.
I know he was really instrumental in this deal with the Lucas people. And on one hand, it's like it's a bit of a stretch to put these characters in that game, but on the other hand, it was just so cool to see them and play them that way in that detail. That I absolutely gave it a pass, and I really enjoyed it.
This is where again it sort of paved the way for like.
Fortnite and
Smash
everything,
and, all these other games that have this kind of like service or like partnership now, right?
The thing, it did become kind of an expectation though for that series, where it's like, now we've got
the zany character you're going to add to the roster.
We got
now.
Geralt, or we got the characters from Nier, and it's. I wonder if it becomes like a burden on these developers of like we're trying to make this game, but we also have to make some cool deal for some other guest character. So
maybe it's fun. Maybe it's like franchises they're passionate about. Could go either way.
But I mean, there's never really been a game where you could play like Yoda or Vader in that level of detail with lightsaber fights, and like Yoda especially was like, those prequels were fresh in everybody's mind. So like little Yoda jumping around doing cool stuff, like they got that right.
That's
cool.
great. Okay, last question from Weetrick. What's your favorite vintage Nintendo marketing campaign or commercial? Does it hold up? I love the Play It Loud era, and who could forget the Link Awakening rap commercial? I thought it was so cool at the time. Okay, I know you don't like this commercial, but I really like the Melee commercial where they ran up the hill. And then they
with the
bash each
costumes,
other. Yeah, I thought it was fantastic. I know you don't like that. I don't know, you don't violence.
It's too violent.
It's too violent, I know. But I thought it was great. I thought it was funny. I wish they were more funny now. They're so generic.
Mine is the classic Super Mario Brothers 3 commercial where just a crowd of people chanting Mario. And then it zooms out and it's the whole United States or Mario's head because everybody's united chanting Mario's name. Mario.
That's good.
That is a beautiful commercial and a piece of art for a perfect video game.
Okay.
I have to counter what Weetrick said here. I strongly disliked the Play Out Loud era. I think Nintendo lost their way there because they were like, "Hey, we got to get on. We got to counter.
Cool.
We got to be cool. We got to counter Sega." And they kind of sold out on what they were about to try and be cool, but it just came off as hacky and lame.
This is like when your mom says that she's cool, but she's not cool.
This is when your mom takes you shopping for clothes versus you going shopping for clothes yourself.
Or you going with your friends.
It ends up being like watered down and lame. And he's like, my mom chose these out for me. Isn't it cool?
Did your mom choose your clothes for you?
I, of course, went shopping with my mother. I dressed very watered down and dorky and lame.
So not.
I had no choice. I could relate to it. I was like, I'm suffering through this with them.
But if you
I'm playing these games.
If you knew it wasn't cool, why didn't you say something to your mom?
What could I do?
Just tell her you want to pick out something different. I'm sure she would have said okay.
No.
You just didn't know what to pick out.
I didn't either, no.
Yeah, that's the real, that's the truth.
These were lean days for me and Nintendo, okay? Look.
All right.
Going to the PacSun.
Oh, you went to the PacSun?
Yeah.
The Mervyn's?
It was next to a Mervyn's.
You definitely went to Mervyn's.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
You want something cool yet sensible and affordable.
I was at Miller's Outpost a lot.
I don't know. Is that still around?
No, I miss that place
Miller's
so much.
Outpost. I don't think
I had a lot of pants from
I don't think I've stepped foot in a Miller's Outpost.
Miller's Outpost.
We didn't have that.
Was Wet Seal in Miller's Outpost was the two places.
Yeah. I know Wet Seal, yeah.
Yeah, that was the two. That was a 90s kid.
Okay.
All right, anyways, now that we've aged ourselves with these vintage...
PacSun is still around.
PacSun is still around.
Yeah.
PacSun is still around. Okay. Graduating One-Up Club members. Here we go.
Somebody said something really touching. They were like, I'm actually graduating, and this is going to be more meaningful than that, which...
Really?
I mean, that's a wonderful thing to say.
It's wonderful. We'll
Thank
hope
you.
that I pronounced your name right. I think I'm doing better. I think I'm doing better.
You've mastered this.
Don't say it now. Now I'm like nervous. This list is really long now.
Should we trade off? Should you go first now that you've mastered this group?
No,
oh, that's why you mastered
I cannot.
it. All right,
I'm going to mess it up.
Here we go.
Here we go.
A. Ron Burgundy.
Aaron Hash.
Adam Edwards.
Ajan Malari.
Alexandra Pratt.
Ali.
Andre NYH.
Angela Bycroft.
Angelo Vega.
Bailey Mayer.
Ben Eichhorn.
Bettina Tsane.
Blue Toad.
Brian Humphreys.
Chancellor Fairley.
Christopher Lay.
Captain Alex.
Daniel Cold.
Daniel Valencia.
Dogson.
David Zeck.
Douglas Chomix.
Drew Grant.
Dino Punch.
Ed Sandwich.
Eigenverse.
Elite Peach.
Sparts 50.
Fairbound.
Gar.
Garrett Hullfish.
Grayson Atkins.
Handheld Gamer.
Handsome Warrior.
Ian Shea.
Israel Izzy.
Jay Rando.
Jackie Z.
Jason E.
JK99.
JBJ.
Jeff Yoakum.
Jeremy Amaker.
Jesse Hernandez.
Jim Wakeland.
Jobert.
John Responte.
Jonathan Rowe.
Jordan Collette.
Jordan Hammerly.
Jordan Thomas.
Jordy Kirk.
Joshua Clements.
Juan.
Just Camtro.
Carter with a K.
Kawa 2796.
Kevin.
Kevin Delane.
K Madman TV.
Kyle Kretzer.
Kyler Nelson.
Lego My Froggo.
Link.
Linked Triforce.
Link Master.
Luminous.
Luca Mania.
Lucas Pico.
Luis.
Luis Calcano.
Mark Nelson.
Mark Schlasner.
Marky Man 64.
Mario Vega.
Maru Mayhem.
Matt McCarthy.
Matthew Rawald.
Megan.
Michael Cravens.
Michael J. File.
Michael Mazer.
Mike Chin.
Mikey.
Murph.
My Tran.
Nick Waterman.
Nodnarb.
Parker Anderson.
Patreon user.
Paul Gale Network.
Piano Psychopath.
Pirates TCG Grudges Forever.
Prince Charmless.
PS We.
Raver.
Rad State of Mind.
Rain Tech.
Raphael.
Ray Chiron.
RJ Kern.
Rob Osborne.
Rocks.
Roy Eshke.
Ryan Hayes 521.
Ryan Netta.
Sam Neeland.
Safazon.
Shinryu.
Slowbro.
Spicy Munchkin.
Sarholt Productions.
Steel Citrone.
Switching It Up _
The Dad's After Dark Show.
The Don Rob.
The Shark Among Men.
Thomas.
Thomas and Thomas Alvarez.
Tugs Puppy Bear.
Tyler Geis.
BGM Life.
Victor Yee.
Video Game Stupid.
Beautiful Dandy.
Virtual Bot.
What's up, Flapjack?
Wicked Davy.
Will Ernst.
Zudaverf.
Nice.
Okay, hold on. There's one that I didn't do well.
What?
No, I can't find him.
I can't believe that.
Okay.
Here's a big idea. So we made our rap debut.
Should we rap the names?
What if you made a rap of like Pokemon? You have like the Poke Rap?
Yes!
You have the One Up Club rap.
We should do the One Up Club rap.
More beatboxing.
Oh my gosh. Next week. Next week.
But it changes every time. That's the thing.
We can make it so that it's easy to add in names.
The syllables. You gotta add up the syllables.
This is why I look deep into the camera and say, I wrote you a rap. One Up Club family members. I wrote you a rap. I think this is a great idea.
We might need to change up the graduation music if we're doing a rap.
I know, right?
Yeah.
Okay, we'll change it to like some we'll drop the beat.
Yeah.
And then we'll
Good.
have like a rap. Okay,
Good,
cool.
good.
Wonderful. Well, this is a show. Thank you guys so much for watching and listening.
We did it.
Yay! In the books, episode, what is it again? 16? Sure.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Make sure you are following all of our other social channels. We're on TikTok, Instagram, Twitter, and of course, YouTube. If you have not joined our wonderful Patreon family, please consider it. It's really fun. You know, we do have a great time with our monthly meetups. You get the bonus Q&A.
It's a new month. The best time to join.
That's true. It is a new month. You get a full month of benefits. We have 3 different tiers for you guys to choose from, so maybe one works for you. But yeah, we continue to just have so much fun with our community there. And there's lots of cool perks. So join us, won't you? It's great. And get your name wrapped if you join the One Up Club. What else do I have to say? Subscribe, like, give this video a thumbs up, leave us a comment. Tell us about your E3 experiences as we lead into E3 season. And if you have any predictions for what is coming.
Yes.
All these announcements coming in June. So should be an exciting time. We're gonna have lots of stuff this month. We'll be busy.
Very busy.
Teasing the content. It's gonna be cool. We'll have stuff for you. So yeah, thank you for watching, and we'll wrap it up here. We'll see you guys later.
Bye.
Bye.